We have technology from above and behind. Did you guys catch what I said at the end of my announcement about one of the most deadliest diseases being loneliness? I was talking to Tiny, who heads up the mental health with UPRAD here, and he was letting me know on that. Just think about all the things that come out of loneliness that are really real afflictions, whether it's suicide or it's substance abuse or domestic abuse or just a whole litany of things. But I was amazed. He said, yeah, they found that it's one of the leading, most deadly diseases in the United States. Wow. Remember those neighbors, right? Okay. I know, like I said, I did cover scams a few weeks ago, but I thought, well, what things are more pertinent? I mean, all of them are pertinent to Colorado, but kind of narrow in on us here. So the first one, taxpayers. I went to the Department of Revenue site. Huge things on scams when it's tied to scams with the tax system. As far as identity thief, phone calls, text message, they'll try to trick you into giving information. And next one, how do we identify these? CDOR is Colorado Department of Revenue. So a telephone scam, they'd like to alert us that possible telephone scam from a party fraudulently representing themselves as the Colorado Department of Revenue. And they identify themselves State Tax Investigation Department. Sounds pretty official. They're good. I mean, they are good. Email scams, they're going to go and they want to let you know that they will never personally identifiable or financial information in these messages. If you have to do something online, they'll let you know, and you go to the actual website, and it has a real website next. And if you need to know these website addresses, let me know. But yeah, it'll look official, and it gives that little warning there that you're accessing that system, and you know it's very, very tightly controlled. So yeah, Colorado Department of Revenue is not going to call you. They're not, all these they're going to properly identify and give you a link to be able to log into their website. They will not send information by email. But if it does come from an email, you can see at the end of the address, it's going to have @state.colorado.us. So if you have a question, any of one of those, don't just click on them or answer them or anything. So the next one that I thought was interesting, utility companies. That's another big one, getting a telephone call, an email, a text message, claiming your service is about to be shut off. And they don't want payment in a convenient way. They, like a credit card or a check, they want it through a prepaid debit card, which should be, or gift card, should be a first clue. And I don't know how many of you got a text recently from Pastor Jeff about a lady that had cancer and doing a fundraiser and needed gift cards. Jeff will never, our pastors had better not, or I'm going to be knocking on their door. They will not be asking for that way. I mean, we even had one a few months ago from Pastor Steve. And I was able to, what was nice, sometimes they even give you a routing number, and I got one on that one. So I was able to give that to law enforcement. Well, that's a little more traceable for them. And it traced back to Georgia. But still, but here's another one, and this one really got me because our first day we moved in our house, we had a guy knocking on the door and saying something about our service going to get cut off because of a late bill. Well, he actually was with the utility company. He's like, he got his orders wrong. He was supposed to start our service. But anyway, yeah. So it's like, wait a minute, you're going to cut me off? I haven't even started. I haven't even begun. But evidently they do have where a serviceman shows up and asks to come inside to inspect your wiring or your furnace or your meter. You know, just verify. Trust but verify. I mean, they may be legitimate, but make a phone call. So what do you want to do? You want, with all the variety of scams where they impersonate your utility company in order to gain access to your information or simply steal from you. So here's some common ones. Is a service interruption. Typical scam involves unsolicited telephone call claiming to be a utility company. Message usually that you've unpaid utility bills and you're about to be disconnected, and they demand immediate payment. And once again, that prepaid debit or gift card, or maybe a wire transfer. They may also request a bank or credit card information to verify your account. Another one is ID theft. So they'll get just enough of your information to start up a new utility account, but not for your location. So to pay their own bills. Amazing what they'll do. Of course, the door-to-door scams. A couple of people show up without an appointment, want to inspect your wiring or gas or furnace or something. Now, I mean, we've had the gas company come here to the church because someone walking by smelled gas. You know, I mean, okay, hopefully they do, but I verified and they were the real people and they came in and checked everything out. But so just trust but verify, please. And refund scams. Of course, I don't know, but I'm on a different electric. Well, I'm on Core. I think most of you are on Core, and we get a rebate each year for what they. But they're not going to contact you and say on the phone or an email that you've overpaid or you got this coming, and they're going to want to make sure they're getting the money back to you, so they want to verify your information. They're not going to, they've already got your information. It'll reflect in your bill. Please don't. Federal assistance programs. This one comes up once in a while. A phone call or email says that you're eligible for assistance with your home energy bills, which there are some out there, I suppose, that do help, but that's not how they're going to approach you. And once again, they're trying to get personal information, financial information, to see if you qualify. Well, you might qualify for this. Well, that tells you right there. You might. If they really are legitimate, they know, and it's already on your way. Or they'll give you at least a resource to go to. And of course, the email scams, man, they deal for everything. And even some of your social media accounts and stuff like that, you'll get from someone you think you know, and it has this link. I think I've told you guys before, I get cute little links from my dad, and I won't even click on them. Because I could still call him and say, did you send this? But who sent it to him? So just stay away from them. Yeah, your utility will contact you in writing if you have an overdue balance, and before they send you a written notice of service being shut off. So they're going to do it very legitimate, in black and white on their letterhead. And they have lots of ways for you to make a payment. And it's not going to be through a gift card. And if they show you at your door without an appointment, you never allow them into your home. And once again, contact the company. And tips for avoiding them: you don't respond to unsolicited calls or emails providing assistance in obtaining a fund. There is no federal government program to provide assistance in paying your utility bills. There may be some tax deductions for energy efficiency or solar energy expenditures, but don't be fooled because your caller ID or email seeking information looks like it's the right one. I think I've shared with you, I get one from my bank, one of my banks, and every single thing on that whole page looks perfect. And there's only one little blurb of what number to call customer service that's left off of it. I mean, you put two side by side them and it looks totally legitimate. So I didn't trust, so I called them, and they have a recording of every single correspondence they've sent to me, and I could verify whether it was legit or not. So yeah, so stay away from them, and if you have a question, contact them. So the last one that's come up, another new one's come up, and it's been on the news some, the phantom hacker scam. And it's really prevalent through the Rocky Mountain region, but for some reason it's been narrowing in on Wyoming and Colorado a lot. And this one is pretty interesting. And there's people that have lost their entire banking and savings and retirement under the guise of protecting their assets. And this is coming from the FBI. The office in Denver said scammers impersonate technology, banking, and government officials in a complex ruse to convince typically older, and they've been hitting the older populations a lot with this one, that foreign hackers have infiltrated their financial account, and they instruct the victim to immediately move their money to what they say is a U.S. government account to protect your assets. And like I said, they've dubbed this the phantom hacker. They're cold and calculated. They're targeting the older members of our community, that particularly mindful of potential risks to their nest eggs. They're using the victim's own attentiveness against them. By educating the public about this new scam, we hope to get ahead of these scammers. Some of the victims are losing their entire life savings. From January through June of this year, FBI said there was 19,000 tech support scams according to the FBI, and more than $542 million was lost during that time frame. And almost 50% of those victims were over the age of 60. So they do it, there's three different things that they're seeing on this. The tech support imposter. They pose as customer support representative from a legitimate technology company, and they initiate contact through a phone call, text, email, pop-up window on their computer, and instructs you to call a number for assistance. So they're even giving you the number. Do your own research to find the right number. And once you call the number, they direct you to download some software and allows them remote access to a victim's computer. Now, I've had different tech supports that do that. They actually have you do a thing and they can fix everything on you, but it was legitimate. It's scary though when you watch them, what they're doing everything on your computer, and amazing. But then they open their financial accounts to determine where the authorized charges have been, so they can look at it to detect which one of your accounts. And of course, they're going to look for the most lucrative account of them. They're not going to pick your $500 forgotten savings account. They're going to see where the cash flow is. And they let you know, they inform you that you're going to receive a phone call from our fraud department with further instructions. So it's not just a one step. So then you get this contact from a representative of this financial institution, and they inform you that their computer financial accounts have been accessed by this foreign hacker, and you must move your money to a safe third-party account. an account with the Federal Reserve or a U.S. government agency. I mean, they're getting slick. They're not just doing the one time you hang up on them. They're following up. And you're directed to transfer your money. And this scam may instruct the victim to send multiple transactions over a period of days or months to protect you, right? And the third one they'll do is a government imposter. The victim may be contacted by a scammer posing as someone from the Federal Reserve or another U.S. government agency. And if you become suspicious, the scanner may follow up and send you an email or a letter, which appears to be the government letterhead to legitimize the scam. So they're even following up. Well, you seem like you're not buying off. They'll follow up in the mail or something. I mean, they're getting slick, scary slick. The scammer will continue to emphasize that victims' funds are unsafe and they must be moved to a new alias account. Victims, according to FBI Denver, victims often suffer the loss of entire banking, savings, retirement, and investment accounts under the guise of protecting their assets. I gave you the numbers earlier. They're having success. But I'm just amazed the multiple layers they're getting to. They're following up. Some tips to protect yourselves, don't click on unsolicited pop-ups or links sent via text message or email or attachments. Don't contact the phone numbers provided on that communication. Don't download the software at the request of an unknown individual. And like I said earlier, don't let them have control of your computer. I think the ones that I've done, I've been the one that's initiated something. Like I think we did it through the church on one for doing new drivers for talking to our big fancy printer up in the office. But I contacted them, and then they came in and they did all the driver work and everything, and I just sat back and watched. But I initiated it. So, and the government will never request you send money to them via wire transfer, cryptocurrency, or a prepaid card. So, all I did was I looked up on Google Colorado scams. Take a moment to do that sometime, because I just picked a couple of the main ones that I saw, but on the Colorado Department of Revenue site, they have drop downs for probably a dozen different ones that they'll do, and they're targeting, Colorado residents. So keep an eye on them. Be safe, and happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.